Hey guys, in this video we'll look at how we can install Ubuntu on our Windows 10 device using VirtualBox. So we'll need to download and install VirtualBox if we don't already have it, which is a hypervisor that allows us to install different operating systems such as Linux and even Windows on top of Windows. So we'll do a download and install of that, and then we'll also need the ISO image for Ubuntu in order to install it on VirtualBox. Now we'll open a browser and search for VirtualBox download. And then go to virtualbox.org. Once on the website, you'll see that there's different options depending on what kind of operating system you want to install VirtualBox on. If it's a Windows host, Mac host, or Linux host, you'll have to select which host you're running. So in our case, it's a Windows 10. We'll go with the Windows host. Now, just want to mention that this option gives you the option to download the newest version, which is 7.1.6. It's already downloading. I can go ahead and actually cancel this. I click that twice. Now, if you don't want to download this latest version, which some people have said has got some issues, this 7.1.6 version, you can get the older releases or the previous releases by scrolling down, and here if you go to VirtualBox older builds, you have an option of going with the 7.1, so you can select 7.1 here, and then again you see you have different options depending on your operating system. Now what you need to do is again select the one that matches your operating system. If it's Windows host, just click on it. The download should begin here. It shouldn't take too long. It's 216 MBs. So once the download is complete, we can go ahead and install it. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention is that if you already have the latest version and you're having issues with it, you can always revert to the older version, which is this one. By just clicking on it and going through the installation process, it's gonna uninstall the latest version and install the older build. At the same time, if you have an older version like this one and you want to go to the newer version, you can always just install the newer version. It will delete the old version and update your VirtualBox. So the downloads are done here. The other thing, like I said, we need is the ISO image. So you can always search for, in this case we are working on Ubuntu, you can say Ubuntu download. This should allow you to go to ubuntu.com, and since it's the desktop version we want, so just click on this link and you can go with the LTS version, which is which has support for 5 years as far as free security and maintenance updates. You can select, so this is so Ubuntu 24.10 LTS. We can go with this version right here. Just to now, you can also look at the requirements here, system requirements, which tells you the amount of processor, system memory needed, and hard drive space needed, which is 25 GB. So when we are going to be doing the install, we'll make sure we are selecting these options. And it also tells you how to install. you can go to this link to get more information as far as how to install. I'll go back here. Now to download, just click on this link. And it should begin the download. You don't really need to input this information. The download has begun. Now since it's a much bigger file, it's a 5.3 GBs, it could take a while, again depending on the your internet connection. This could take quite a while to download. For instance, this one is saying 21, 23, so it could take up to half an hour to download, to finish the download. I already downloaded this file, so let's go ahead and look at the other download that we did for VirtualBox. It should be by default. I should have downloaded this to the downloads folder. I have multiple there. So I have multiple files here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete some of these. And the version that I already have a version installed. It's 7.0. Let me open VirtualBox here. I will see what version I have. You can go to help about VirtualBox and it's 7.0. Now to install it, all you have to do is just click on the file, whichever version you're looking to run. It's gonna ask you for permissions. Just say yes. And then it's gonna begin the installation. So it's not really gonna break this one. You can go through the process, and in my case it's asking if I want to repair because it sees that I already have one installed. If you don't have any VirtualBox on your system, it's going to present you with something different. Just go through the process, go with the defaults and finish the installation. So I'm going to cancel this. Yes, I want to cancel it. I'll finish. Okay, we'll go back here and look at the download. So this, as you can see, we're still saying 25, 23. So it could be a while, could even take up to an hour, depending again on your internet speed. It could take quite a while to finish the download. Now let's go ahead and see how we can actually install it. I'm gonna open VirtualBox. I'm gonna cancel this. Once you have the ISO image, let me go to where I have the ISO image here. Should look, should be something similar to this here. It should say .ios. Now let's go ahead and open VirtualBox. Now on VirtualBox, you'll need to click on new because you're adding a new virtual machine. Then you'll need to give your virtual machine a name. So I'll call it Ubuntu. Now as you can see, I already have some virtual machines. I have Ubuntu, Debian, Mac OS, and Parrot OS that I already installed on this VirtualBox. Another thing I want to mention is that if you're upgrading or downgrading, normally those virtual machines you already have installed shouldn't be affected. It should still stay in place. Okay, now you name your virtual machine, then you have to select the folder where you want it installed. You can create a new folder, or you can let it install it in the default folder. Then you can select the ISO image now, or you can select it later. In my case, I'm gonna select it later. Now the type of virtual machine is Linux since it's Ubuntu. And then here you have different options as well. Okay, once you have these options checked, go to next, and here is where you select the amount of memory and processor. depending on how much you have on your host machine, you can select the amount that's appropriate. So the recommended memory is about 4 GB and 2 CPUs, so I'm gonna go with those. I'll click next, and then the recommended disk size is 25 GB. You can increase it. I'll increase it to say 30. And I'm gonna leave everything else as default. I'll click on next, and these are the options. Finish. Now we have the virtual machine. Now this is just a shell. All we've done so far is selected the different options. We can still make adjustments. Select the virtual machine and go to settings. You can right click and click settings, or select it and click settings up here. You should get this window for the settings. And here you can see the different, on the left is the different options as far as what we can make changes to. Now on the general, you see we have the name, type, version. Under advanced, here is where you'll select if you want to share the clipboard with the host machine, between the host machine and the virtual machine. By default, you see it's disabled. You want to do bidirectional, and then also drag and drop, same thing, bidirectional. So those are the two things you want to check there. The system, here you want to, if you don't really use floppy, you can uncheck that, and then you can move the hard disk and optical up. Processor, we already made the changes for that. We can leave everything else as default. And then let's go to display. You can increase virtual memory. You can maximize this one. Everything else we'll leave as default here. Storage, here is where you attach your virtual machine. So click on this icon that says empty, and then come to this icon, click it and choose a disk file. And then navigate to where you have your ISO image, and we installing Ubuntu. This is the ISO image, so select it, click open, and now it's attached. Okay, under network, by default you can leave NAT, which shares the IP address with the host machine, or if you want this virtual machine to get its own IP address and be reachable by the other machine on your network or your local area network, you can go with the bridge adapter, which is what I normally use. And that should be it for that option. Serial ports, we don't do much with that. USB defaults here. You can create a shared folder if you want, but I'm gonna leave everything else as default and click OK. Now we have the settings completed. What we can do now, we can start the virtual machine. With the virtual machine selected, you can click start, or you can right click and do normal start, and that should start the virtual machine. Now I might be pausing the video every now and then, so the installation process could take a while. So if there's not much to be inputting, I might pause the video, or I might just let the video run. So the first option is try or install Ubuntu. This is what we want, so we just click the enter key. Now, sometimes you might get this error message when you're installing Ubuntu on VirtualBox. Normally, what I do is just wait. You might wait a few minutes, and then this error might go away. So let's give it a few minutes and see if the error is gonna go away. So as you can see, the error did go away, and now we are on the virtual machine here. We should get an option allowing us to proceed with the installation. So let's give it some time. So like I said, the process usually takes a while, so you have to be patient and just follow the prompts. Okay, now we are being presented with the option to select to choose a language. We'll go with the default, which is English. Click next here. And here I'm not making any changes. I'll click next. And then as far as the keyboard, I'll go with the English US. Next. Now you can go with the use wired connection or connect to the internet, or you can skip the option to connect to the internet. I'm gonna skip it. I'm not gonna connect to the internet. I'll click next. Then you have the option to go ahead and just try Ubuntu, or you can install it. So we're looking to install Ubuntu, so we'll go with install Ubuntu. Now the option we want is this one, the first option. So I'll go with the option and click next. Now I'm gonna go with the option to install default apps. Now it's asking if you want to install software for graphics and additional media formats. And the other option is to download and install support for additional media formats. I'll select that option. Click next. Now we'll go with the first option to erase disk and install Ubuntu. You'll need to create an account by inputting a name here, and then you can input your computer name or the name for this virtual computer here. I'll say Ubuntu. Then select a username, and then you'll need to do a password. Just trying to make sure that passwords are going to match here. You can go with the option to require a password to log in. And then we'll go with next. You'll need to select your time zone, then click next. Here you have the option to review your choices. Once you're satisfied with whatever you selected as far as your settings or the options, you can click install. Okay, and at this point it's copying files. Again, this could take a while to complete. So this portion of the install normally takes quite a while to copy files. So let's watch it and see what is going to be in the next step. So at this point, it's moved to the next step or phase, which is installing the system. And this could also take a while. Okay, it's also giving some information here as far as what tools are available with Ubuntu and what apps you can get with Ubuntu. So once the system is installed, or once we finish the installation, we can take a quick look and see what apps are available to us. We can also do a few checks on some of the things you might want to check once you do a new install. We can look around and see what's available to us on Ubuntu. Now this page, it's letting us know where we can get support, where we can get documentation. So there's different sites you can go to ask questions about issues you might be having with Ubuntu or any information you might need. There's also sites where you can get documentation. You can get official documentation that pertains to Ubuntu. So it's still doing the installation. It's taking a while here to do the installation. So I was gonna pause this video here because of the amount of time it's taking, but I decided that let's just have it run so we can see the actual full installation process, so we can have an idea of how long it takes and the different steps that the installation goes through. So far, looks like it's been about half an hour since we began the installation, and it's still ongoing. So this process does take quite a time. So the process does take quite some time to finish from start to finish. Again, this is just gonna require patience to go through the entire process and finish the installation. So if you add this to on top of the time it takes you to download the ISO image, which also could take an hour, so you're looking at about 2 hours of the download of the software or the download of the ISO image, and then doing the install. So sometimes it's best to just download this ISO image while you're doing something else, and then once it's downloaded you can come back and do the install. That way you don't have to sit and wait for the download of the ISO image to finish. So far it looks like this phase or this step where it's doing the installing, where it says installing the system, is the one that's taking the most. It's the one that's taken the most time so far. So that gives us an idea that if you had something else to do, you can. Once it gets to this step, you can go ahead and go do whatever you have to do for 10-20 minutes, and then come back to continue the installation. So it has moved to the next phase or step here, where it says setting up the system. So it's moving along here, and should be done hopefully within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, still doing the setup, setting up the system. So this one is also taking a while here. It's not a quick part of the installation. So yeah, we'll have to be patient again and see how long this one is going to take as well. And watch out for the next step. So still at this step right here, we're still at this setting up the system step, and again this one is taking quite a while as well. We'll keep waiting and watch out for the next step. Okay, so far it looks like it's taken around 40 minutes and we're still not done. Still doing the installation. Again, like I said, it takes a while to install these virtual machines on VirtualBox, so let's keep waiting. Okay, so we are coming up on around 45 minutes of the installation, and again, we're still not done. It's stuck at setting up the system. So I don't think there is anything we can do to fast track the process. It's just to sit and wait for it to finish. Like I said, now that you know how long it takes, you can start the process, and you can walk away and let it, do the installation, and don't have to sit and watch all the steps. As you can see, most of the steps that you have to input something at the beginning, and then once it starts copying the files, you can walk away and let it do its thing and finish. So, but for my case, since I'm doing the installation to demo the entire installation process, I'm just gonna sit here and wait for it to finish. So at this point we are coming up on about 50 minutes again, and the step here, it says setting up the system. So this one is another long step here, but has been ongoing for over 10 minutes. So hopefully this is the last step, and after this step is gonna finish. We'll see. Let's again, let's sit and wait. So it's finally done here. It took about 15 minutes, and it's saying installation complete. It's giving us the version Ubuntu 24.10. So Ubuntu 24.10 is installed and ready to use. It says restart to complete the installation or continue testing. You can continue testing or you can restart. Since we want to restart, we'll do a restart now. Again, you see that error message. So for some reason you do get this error message when installing Ubuntu on VirtualBox. So you just have to give it a few minutes and that error will just go away. So don't panic when you see that error message. Now what you can do here is saying to please remove the installation media. You can go to the settings and see if we are able to do that here. So it's actually not attached. Okay, so I'll click OK here. I'll click enter. It's not really attached. So at this point it's doing the reboot. Let's give it a few more minutes and it should get to the login page. Okay, at this point we are at the login screen here. We have the username, so whatever username you set up when you did the setup is what it's gonna present you with, and then you need the password we also set up during the installation. So just put in the password for that user. Okay, there we are. We are on Ubuntu. So it's still loading some of the apps on here. So it says welcome to Ubuntu 24.10. You can view the release notes if you wanted. So that will take you to like Ubuntu's website. This also should tell you if you have internet connectivity. I don't really want to view those. So that shows you how you can go to the release notes if you want to read through those. It's asking if you want to share system data with Ubuntu. You can go with yes. You can view the legal notice here. Click next. Now it's showing the different apps that are available to us, such as Firefox. Okay, now we can open the App Center. And here you can explore. So you scroll down. You can just explore what's available. Close this and then you can finish. Again, if you wanted to access the App Center, this is what you click. Yeah, Firefox, this is your browser here. By default, it doesn't come with the Chrome. You'll need to install Chrome if you want. So installing so like I said, if you wanted to use Chrome, you'll need to go through the installation process for it on on your new Ubuntu install. Okay, now that we have the browser open, you can go to, let's say, BBC News, just to make sure you have connectivity to the internet. Okay, I'm able to get to BBC's website, and it's loading the pages here. Okay, what else? You can go to show apps here, the menu, to see what apps we have available. You have the settings here. You can open the terminal. You might be working on the terminal a lot to do stuff like installing software, upgrading the system, updating the system. So you can also search for it here. You can say terminal, and there is the terminal. You can open it, and then once you open it, if you wanted to dock it here, you can right click it and pin to dock, and then it's pinned. Next time you want to use it, you can just click on it, or you can right click and open terminal. Let's go back in here and open settings. Now here you have different options. You have the network, keyboard, printer, mouse, sharing. You have various options here that you could adjust. Appearance. You could go in here, you can change to dark mode. You can change your background. You can try some of these options here. And once you select it, you see it's just gonna change it for you. Whatever you want. Again, dark mode. So here you can work on your display, power. You can set power saving. So those are the different options that you have available. Let's see what else we have here. Displays. Color, printers, your privacy here. You can set up your screen lock, how much time it takes of inactivity. You can increase this or reduce it or never. So you can change that if you want it. Now let's quickly open the terminal here. Open terminal, And one thing you want to do is you want to update your package repositories, and usually you can do sudo apt update. You'll need to put in your password. This will run and let you know the packages that can be upgraded. Now it's saying that we have 148 packages that can be upgraded. Another thing you could do is you can right click. If you wanted to increase the font size, right click here, go to preferences, and then under text, you see here you can customize your font. You can increase it. You can change the type, the style or type, and then you can increase the font. Click select, and the font has increased. Okay, let's go ahead and run this command. It could take a while to run. We'll say sudo apt upgrade. It should upgrade the 148 packages. Yes. So this is one of the steps that is recommended to be done. You want to update and upgrade your packages on the system. And let's see if we can open another terminal here. While that's running, you can check, verify your IP. You can do IP address, and this should show you what you're running as far as the IP. You can also check your. You can also do a ping if you're looking to check for connectivity. You can ping our website. Now, if you wanted to see what you have set up or configured for DHCP, now if you wanted to, not DHCP, what you have set up for DNS, you can do NS lookup, and then the name of the website here. And if I scroll back up, it's gonna tell me this is the server, this is the port. And then it just translates google.com to different IP addresses. So you can see google.com is using different IP addresses here, not just a single one. Yeah, close this. Actually, let's see if we can check the version. We can do cat etc OS release, and this should give you information about your version that you're running. Version ID 24.10, name is Ubuntu, version code name Oracular, and so on. So this one is almost done. It's at 40, it's at 74%. And once that's done, that should be it for this video. Should have covered the entire installation process here. So the first time you run this command to do the upgrade, it could take some time to complete because you have quite a few packages that we are upgrading on the system for the first time. Okay, so at this point it's done with the upgrade. This video has been quite long, an hour, so I think I'll stop here. There's much more that can be done as far as the things we want to do once we do an install to maybe secure the Ubuntu Linux, but this can be shown in another video. So I hope this video has been helpful. I'll stop here and I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks, bye.